Hello, peoples. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Another later upload. I be working 10, 11, 12 hour shifts. Just the way it is. So some days when I'm working, it might be a little bit later unless I get a chance to sneak away to my car during lunch break like I did a few videos ago. But today we're going to be reading Daniel 7. Let me put a little bit more light. I have two lamps. Two lamps. I'm rich. I have it bookmarked to something else. Hold on. One moment. I must find Daniel. Ezekiel. Daniel. Oh, Daniel 7. Huh? Well, what makes it happen? I just flip through the pages and then it shows up where I need to be. That's like it's happened quite a few times in these videos I've been making. Alright, so let me see. I decided I'm gonna do my yap sesh first, just to because why not? No real best time to do it. I don't know what that was. So let's see. Today it's a pretty good day. Pretty wonderful day. Every day I remind myself it's another day the Lord has created, so no matter what happens, let's rejoice in it. Because that's the truth. So let's see what happened today. My coworkers be talking about some things I don't really like. They do that. I try to look past it many times. Because we're told to love the person, not to sin. But sometimes it's pretty hard when they're talking about literally violence. No bueno. That's Spanish or something. So it's really hard. We try to escape these sinful things, lust, violence even, greed. But when we go to work, like when we go out into the world, we're going to be exposed to it. When we're exposed to it in such a way that we willingly put ourselves in a position to be surrounded by it, it's kind of like we make it our problem to deal with, because we could always just go quit our jobs, forget all our bills, and just be beggars. It is better to die a beggar than to beg at heaven's gates. That's my song. Hosea Queen, I think. But yeah, it's just some days I wonder, would I be happier? Would things be better off if I just jumped in my car, said forget all these bills, and went and just started preaching the word to people, going to different churches, outreach, and just helping, donating my time, not for money, but to spread the gospel. Oh, grapes, by the way. I already prayed over them, if anyone's wondering, before I started this video. I do like grapes quite a lot. I have a bowl of fruit. Bowl of fruit. So I'm gonna be munching on these grapes while I yap. So I had gone and bought, I think I mentioned this in a different video, bought these little Bibles, like a bunch of them, little New Testament and Christian Standard by Holman. Yeah. So I bought a bunch of these to give out, different colors. I got red, blue, and black. They're pretty nice. I believe they have red text. Let's go to Matthew, John. Yeah, they're even red text. They're really nice little Bibles, just to give out for outreach. I bought a bunch of them. A bunch of them. I just haven't gone out into the world to give it, but I think I could just quit. Then I don't have to go. I don't have to deal with people around me being sinful. I could choose who I want to be around and not choose to be around people for the sake of money. Because at the end of the day, If I really need to get somewhere, I can walk. If I really need to eat, the Lord will provide. I don't really have a 3. We work and live a worldly life, chasing money so that we can have comfort, not so that we can impress God. God does not care about money. He will give to us generously because He is good. He will give us a good job. So He knows our hearts, and He knows, are we going to seek ourselves in the pursuit of money, or are we going to seek Him and deny ourselves money? And oftentimes we find ourselves trying to strike a balance, but in that balance, we know it creates conflict within us, which is a conflict that many of us face. And that conflict is exactly what I just explained. We, in our spirit, does not want to keep chasing this money and living this unhappy, stressful life surrounded by people who do not believe the same thing and do not respect God or Jesus, and instead chase sin. But our body wants comfort, and so we put stress in our body and our mind to chase money. Not even to necessarily chase it, but to earn it. And in earning money, we use it to pay our bills, buy all these things that we have, bubbly waters, grapes. A bag of grapes was $7. Things that we want, which is okay. I believe it's the Old Testament. Israelites, which I'm a descendant of, are told to give a tenth or tenth, I don't know how to say it, teeth of their income, which is a 10%, donate it. I believe specifically it was to the church, or to the temple, but you can donate it in different ways, such as buying Bibles and giving them out, helping the homeless, feeding the poor. 10% isn't a lot. Make $1,000, that's only $100. But many times we convince ourselves that we need that $100 so that we can buy our Netflix or whatever. Just an example. I don't even have Netflix. But yeah, it's a conflict. It would always be easier to pack up and give everything up if you have somebody with you on the same mindset, and you just go pack up and see what God leads you to. And you know what'll be good. You might go through a little bit of strife, turmoil, suffering for a short time, but in the end, He will put you where you need to be, and that place will be good and pleasing, because the Lord says, "My hands for you to give you hope and a future." So, food for thought, and grapes for food. So, without further ado, time to read Daniel 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was laying in bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. Daniel said, "In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the 4 winds of heaven, churning up the great sea. 4 great beasts, each different from the others, came up out of the sea. The first was like a lion, and it had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet, like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. And there before me was the second beast, which looked like a bear. It was raised up on one of its sides, and had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, 'Get up and eat your fill of flesh.' After that I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on its back had 4 wings like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. After that, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was a fourth beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all the former beasts, and it had 10 horns. While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes, like eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully. As I looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair of his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and his wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. Sounds a bit familiar. Then I continued to watch because of the boastful words the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain and its body destroyed and thrown into the blazing fire. The other beasts had been stripped of their authority and were allowed to live for a period of time. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and people of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. That sounds even more familiar. I, Daniel, was troubled in spirit, and the visions that passed through my mind disturbed me. I approached one of those standing there and asked him the meaning of all this. So he told me and gave me the interpretation of these things. The 4 great beasts are 4 kings that will rise from the earth. But the holy people of the Most High will receive the kingdom and will possess it forever. Yes, forever and ever. Then I wanted to know the meaning of the 4th beast, which was different from all the others and most terrifying, with its iron teeth and bronze claws. The beast that crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. I also wanted to know about the 10 horns on its head and about the other horn that came up, before which 3 of them fell, and the horn that looked more imposing than the others, and had eyes and a mouth that spoke boastfully. As I watched, this horn was waging war against the holy people and defeating them, until the Ancient of Days came and pronounced judgment in favor of the holy people of the Most High, and the time came when they possessed the kingdom. He gave me this explanation. The 4th beast is a 4th kingdom that will appear on earth. It will be different from all the other kingdoms and will devour the whole earth. It will be different from all the kingdoms, trampling it down and crushing it. We're on Daniel 7:24. The 10 horns are 10 kings who will come from this kingdom. After them, another king will arise, different from the earlier ones. He will subdue 3 kings. He will speak against the Most High and oppress his holy people, and try to change the set times and the laws. The holy people will be delivered into his hands for a times, and half a time. Very similar to something. But the court will sit, and his power will be taken away and completely destroyed forever. Then the sovereignty, power, and greatness of all the kingdoms under heaven will be handed over to the holy people of the Most High. His kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom, and all rulers will worship and obey him. This is the end of the matter. I, Daniel, was too deeply troubled by my thoughts, and my face turned pale, but I kept the matter to myself. Blessed is the name of the Lord. Holy and mighty are his ways. It sounds a lot familiar, very familiar to the book of Revelation, and the dream that John had. What was his title? Wasn't John the Baptist, was it? No, it wasn't John the Baptist. Just look and find out. Just look and find out. It was John the what? John the St. John? It was St. John, right? No, yes. Doesn't say. St. John? But yeah, John. So, sorry for the late up again. I will try to make better thought memory processes to try to do them earlier and force the time to do them earlier. Yeah. Alright. God bless you all. I'm gonna hit the off button first time. Watch this. 3, 2, 1.